Hi guys, and welcome back to Petrolhead Podcasts. The all-new Mercedes EQS is a fantastic all-electric luxury sedan that promises to combine the luxury of an S-Class with the forward-thinking technology and innovation usually associated with an EV. But is it the best at doing so? Is it better than the similarly new and impressive Audi RS E-Tron GT, another German luxury EV that has recently gone onto the market? Join me as I go through an in-depth comparison to give you the answer. But before I begin, please consider supporting me by liking this video and subscribing to my channel to be the first to see more amazing content like this in the future. The Mercedes EQS 580 has two electric motors that combine to give a total system output of 516 horsepower and 611 pound-feet of torque and a range of 478 miles through a 108 kilowatt-hour battery. The vehicle accelerates from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4.1 seconds. It charges from 10 to 80% in just 35 minutes with 110 kilowatts DC fast charging. Drag coefficient is only 0.20, a new low for production vehicles. Rear-wheel steering is available to improve driving dynamics. In terms of styling, the EQS has some futuristic design elements, such as the front light bar that joins the two headlamps and the closed grille with countless small stars on them. This is combined with the traditional AMG lower bumper design to achieve a harmonious balance of future and present. On the side, the profile is not as swoopy and sleek as the E-Tron GT, with a tall roofline, large glasshouse area, and big C-pillars. The flush door handles and extremely smooth surfacing is a neat touch though, and round back like the E-Tron, the full-length taillights look modern and luxurious. The EQS's overall proportions and styling are not nearly as good as the Audi's, and reminds me a bit too much of the BMW 3 Series GT and 6 Series GT models. Inside, the Mercedes is convincingly the better car of the two though. The signature MBUX hyperscreen of the car with an overall screen size of 56 inches and consisting of a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, a 17.7-inch central infotainment screen, and a 12.3-inch passenger display, all wrapped under one single piece of glass, is extremely futuristic and impressive. The second-generation MBUX, with features such as augmented reality navigation projected onto the road, gesture control, and natural language processing, all works great, and the new generation Mercedes steering wheel with touch controls and haptic feedback add to the sense of technology. The wood paneling, turbine-style air vents, coated leather seats, and usual S-Class levels of luxury features such as executive rear seat packages, massaging seats, rear seat entertainment, and heating and cooling seats combine to provide a much more serene and luxurious experience than the E-Tron GT. On the road, the ride is extremely comfortable with the air suspension system. It flows over bumps just like the regular S-Class does, and has the same advanced road scanning technology to preempt road conditions ahead of the driver. A lot of sound deadening in the vehicle means it is also very quiet on the move. There are three different sound effects that simulate either high-frequency electric or robust internal combustion engine sounds. In addition, there is a relatively sporty driving experience compared to the regular S-Class, aided by the low center of gravity. The car feels smaller and more agile than it is, and the steering is also more direct than the S-Class. However, overall it is still not as sharp and sporty as the E-Tron GT. On the other hand, the Audi RS E-Tron GT has two electric motors, 590 horsepower and 612 pound-feet of torque via a 2-speed transmission. A range of 232 miles through a 93.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack is possible. An overboost function temporarily increases the power to 633 horsepower. 0 to 60 miles an hour takes just 3.1 seconds, and it charges from 5 to 80% in 23 minutes with 800-volt electrical architecture. Four-wheel steering and air suspension help with driving dynamics, as does a slippery 0.24 drag coefficient. In terms of styling, the E-Tron GT is a real head-turner. It is practically unchanged from the concept car shown back in 2017 and has an unbelievably low, swoopy, and wide stance. The distinctive matrix LED headlights up front join into the blacked-out honeycomb grille to provide a mean and futuristic look. On the side, the massive wheels contrast with the slim glasshouse and clean surfacing to look sporty, athletic, and minimalist, while round back, the full-length taillights that taper and extend across the entire width of the car and the hatchback roofline look extremely cool, and in general it is just a fantastic-looking car that has much better proportions than the EQS. Inside, the car falls apart a bit. Granted, it has the typical Audi bank vault-like build quality. The virtual cockpit looks fantastic, and the Alcantara-trimmed sports seats and steering wheel are both fantastic to look at and touch. The carbon fiber trim also adds to the sportiness. However, the dashboard design, curiously, feels old-fashioned for such a forward-thinking car. The central touchscreen at 10.1 inches is big enough by most standards, but compared to the EQS, where the entire dashboard is a massive 56-inch screen, the relatively small screen combined with traditional-looking air vents and climate controls and a lack of a passenger display makes the interior look last generation in comparison. The MIB software that powers the Audi's infotainment is also sadly nowhere near as smart as intuitive as the second generation MBUX system powering the EQS. On the road, the car feels ferocious in terms of its acceleration, with the immense torque reserves propelling it with urgency at no matter any speed. It has feather-light steering and a dignified and reassuring approach to the handling. The low center of gravity afforded by the floor-mounted battery pack and four-wheel steering means the car has almost endless grip through corners and is extremely confidence-inspiring. A piped-in soundtrack with a grumbly idle gives the car a sci-fi-like experience and adds to the theater of the vehicle. The ride is great as well, with Audi's first ever 3-chamber air suspension system managing to deliver comfort and composure, although it still does get upset by large road imperfections. In terms of interior space, the car has decent front passenger room, but rear passengers have much less leg and headroom than the EQS, as well as less rear seat creature comforts, although to be fair, buyers of this car are unlikely to care much. Overall, choosing a winner between these two luxury EV sedans is very difficult because of the differing characteristics of the two. The Mercedes EQS 580 is distinctly more luxury focused, with its lovely interior and much more accommodating a space, while the Audi RS E-Tron GT is a sports focused vehicle with its low slung design, cocooning cabin and the better driving dynamics. However, overall, the EQS 580 is the winner of this test. It has more forward-thinking technologies, a much more futuristic-looking interior, a longer range, a more comfortable ride and feels more usable on a day-to-day basis. The Audi RS e-tron GT ultimately does not feel as futuristic inside as its wonderful exterior suggests, and the range of just 232 miles makes it more restrictive for daily use. That said, the concept car-like exterior styling and extremely engaging driving dynamics count in its favor, and as a whole it is still a remarkable engineering achievement that would be a fantastic choice for any EV buyer shopping in this high price range. What do you guys think of this conclusion, and what are your thoughts on these two German luxury EVs? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, please like and subscribe to my channel to be the first to see more amazing content like this in the future. Cheers!